Good morning. I think we're finally back. As soon as you all take your seats, we can actually get this show on the road. All right, everybody ready? Here we go. Good morning. This is a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council on September 5th, 2000. We meet on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, although we will be in recess this Friday because of the League of California Cities meeting. But ordinarily, we meet on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at more or less 10 o'clock. And this being the first meeting of the month, why don't we call the roll first, and then we'll do the formalities.
Bernson, Chick, Fier, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Warner, Schwartz, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present, quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll begin, because it's the first meeting of the month, with the salute to the flag. Mr. Pacheco, would you like to lead us in the salute?
Put your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
And we are joined this morning by Father John Bacchus, who is the Dean of St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Cathedral, representing the LA Interfaith Committee and the Greek Orthodox community of Los Angeles, for our invocation.
Thank you, Madam. Shall we take a moment of prayer? Holy God and Creator and Parent of us all, we begin this day of our human labors, asking especially for your blessings upon the City Council. So much of what we think can be accomplished, and so much of what we think is important pales and falls into insignificance without the focus which comes from your divine grace, love, and wisdom. Lord, give us that grace and wisdom and love, and give that wisdom to all those here present who are engaged in public service. Bless them with courage to serve their fellow citizens with justice, compassion, and righteousness. Inspire their hearts to be mindful of the heartfelt and real needs of all who live and work in this city, which bears the divine name, which reflects your majesty. Grant all the strength and conviction to do good with the gifts you have given them. Give them inner peace as they navigate the work of the people through a troubled world, and let them be blessed with a clear conscience to do your will by doing the will of the people who look to them for leadership and excellence. We ask this with grateful hearts, secure in the knowledge that your loving and merciful presence has been with us from generation to generation and will be with us forever. Amen.
Thank you, Father. All right, first item.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, the minutes are approved.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
And without objection, those are also approved.
Before beginning the regular agenda, there are several items to continue. Items 4 and 5, the Office of Council District Swornage has requested those be continued 1 week to September 12th.
Is there any problem with those? Hearing none, those are continued to September 12th.
And items 14 and 15, Councilmember Hernandez's office requests those be continued for 1 week also to September 12th.
All right, those will also be continued to September 12th.
On the regular agenda, item number 10 is confirmation of a city official. It's confirmation of Joseph Gentile to the Employee Relations Board for the new term ending September 23rd, 2005.
Good morning, members of the council. Anybody wish to be heard? Did you wish to be heard? All right. Okay, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. You are confirmed. Thank you
you.
very much. Forthwith on that item, please.
On the regular agenda, items noticed for public hearing. Item number 1 is continued hearing protest and ordinance first reading relative to Vermont Avenue Streetscape Lighting District.
All right. We have no cards on this item. Is there anybody wishing to be heard? All right. Then the matter, there being none, the public hearing is closed. The matter is before us. Members of the council? I guess so. Are we going to have 12 today? All right, let's hold that item then.
Item number 2 is public convenience and necessity for alcohol sales for off-site consumption. It's in Council District 2. I need a motion from the floor to grant the application.
Do we have Council District 2 wish to make a motion? He was here, he's listed here. Mr. Wax, are you here? Let's hold that one, too.
Next item, Madam President, items for which public hearings have been held, items 3 through 9, with the exception of 4 and 5 that have already been acted on.
All right, items 4 through 9, any specials? Ms. Goldberg? 3 special, Mr. Holden calls, wait a minute, we just continued item 3 to... Item 4 and 5. Yeah, item... Oh, 4 and 5 we continue, all right, sorry, I marked it wrong. All right, item 3, Mr. Holden calls that special.
Madam President, request
Yes.
a 60-day continuance for item number 7.
Okay. Item number 7, Mr. Padilla has asked that that be continued for 60 days. That would be November 7th. Without objection, that's continued to November 7th. All right, so it was 3 through 9 except for 4, 5, and 7. And Mr. Holden called 3 special. Let's vote on the others. 6, 8, and 9. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay. Okay, next item.
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 11 through 23.
Okay, items 11 through 23. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on any of those? If so, come fill out a card. Seeing none, the public hearings are closed, and the matters are before us. Members of the council, do we have any specials?
Item 21, is that the banner
Item
motion?
21.
If we could hold that over until tomorrow,
Which
Item-
one?
20.
You want to hold it instead of sending it to committee?
I'd like to hold it over till tomorrow. Yeah, I'd like to talk to you about it.
Well, wait a minute. You said 21 and you said 20.
We're both talking about the same motion, same
Okay.
banner.
So let's get
I'll have committee
clear
meeting next Monday.
which one we're talking about here.
It's number 20 we're talking about, and we've just agreed to have
Hold it.
it sent to, no, that I've agreed to send it to Mr. Hernandez's committee. He'll hear it next Monday.
Okay.
And if we could have it back on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm willing to bring it back on
Great.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 20 will be referred to Mr. Hernandez's committee. Item 21 was okay. Any other specials?
Item 19, please.
Mr. Padilla calls 19 special. Anything else? Okay, open the roll on items, where are we? What's the first one? 12,
11.
through
Well, 11 is an ordinance.
So we're holding that for the moment. 12, 13, 16, 17, 22, 21, 22, and 23. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Those are approved. Forthwith on item 17. Next.
On the continued agenda, items noticed for public hearing, item number 24 is 1999-2000 weed and brush abatement appeals.
All right, item 24. Anybody wish to be heard? I have no cards on this. Public hearing's closed. Members of the council, open the roll, close the roll. This is a slow start.
11 eyes.
Tabulate the vote. Okay, that's approved. Next item.
Item number 25 is a
An
public
ordinance?
hearing, and it's also an ordinance.
Let's hold the ordinances 25, 27, 28, 39 through 41, till we have 12. Oh, Mr. Wax, you're back. Item 2.
I move that we approve the application, Madam Chair.
All right. Mr. Wax has moved approval on item 2. Open the roll. Oops, Ms. Goldberg, is that the one you want to be heard on? Okay. Get rid of this here. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, that's approved. We haven't done one yet. We're waiting until we have 12 people here. That's why you couldn't, yeah. Okay, what are we up to? 20,
Item number 26
All right.
is a continued public hearing.
we do have somebody who wants to be heard. Dr. Kotler.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I'm not a public speaker as a rule. However, it is important that I present my petition to have an application, given the fact that you have just approved a beer and wine liquor license under Councilmember Joel Wack's support. I do know at this time that our application has not been approved as yet. However, I would like to at least get your attention to understand my point of view, and that is that the location that I speak of is a small market on the ocean front. It's been in existence for 54 years. My family has had it for that period of time. We had a big liquor, not a liquor, but a beer and wine license on there in that period of time. Sometimes the property was rented. And in the entire 54-year period, there's only been one incident during the time that we did not own the market that there was a violation. We've always been a good member of the community. We try to control the amount of beer and wine that is sold in that area. In fact, statistically speaking, and I'm sure Council Member Galanter, you know the statistics as well as I do, and that is that in the second quarter of this year, there have been 393 reported arrests in that area. And of that period of time for our district, which is District 1411 and 1412, there's only been 6 because of drunkenness. The problem that we have here primarily is the fact that the property has been vacant for a good year. And part of the problem is the fact that we did not have the availability of a beer and wine license. Granted that we could have rented to a restaurant such as Hans Roggenwagner and so forth. That didn't materialize. In order for us to be able to rent that as the market, and the whole purpose of having a market there in the years that we've been there is to serve the people of that community, particularly the elderly who can't walk to the various larger markets. And with the facility of having the ability to have the beer and wine, at least we would have the opportunity to have an economical, viable location. And so I want you to know that in a letter dated August the 8th, the Los Angeles Police Department had sent a letter in which the vice sergeant by the name of Sergeant Fontanella had indicated that she would not disapprove or object for the granting of this. In fact, the commanding officer, Captain Bill Williams, also signed on that because they feel, historically speaking, that one license in our area is not going to make a change as far as drunken and disorderly conduct. If you consider going into a major market and buying liquor, we don't sell liquor, but if they were to buy liquor and beer and wine, they would have the same impact to a greater extent than what we have. So if it's good enough for Albertson, why can't a small individual person apply for that at the same time? The ABC has indicated that for our district, there are only 2 active beer and wine licenses. And of those 2, one is down toward Windward, which is a good 1.5 miles away, and another one is a mile east of us, going on Rose, but east of Maine. So the location and the preponderance of beer and wine licenses is not that great. We've always been there to support the community there. My father-in-law was the founder of the Oceanfront Property Improvement Association. We've worked with the city council in the past to sublimate the conditions that we have, and And I've traveled 300 miles to come down here to at least give you my particular feeling from the heart and not from the pocket. Please understand that. So I ask you to reconsider the initial objection that you might have and take into consideration that the record supports the fact that there would not be an overwhelming difference in the number of drunkenness and panhandling, whatever. That will go on regardless. It has nothing to do with the fact that our little market is going to sell a six-pack of beer, and particularly to those people who can ill afford to pay for a six-pack. I would appreciate it if you give a second consideration, and I thank you for your time for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Kotler. That closes the public hearing. Members of the council, this is in my district, and while I'm sympathetic to the concerns of the property owner to be able to represent his property, the fact is that we do have an ongoing issue on Oceanfront Walk of people who come to Oceanfront Walk because some because they like it and just want to be there, and some because they have nothing else to do. And we have historically had a problem, which is not the fault of this market, it's not the fault of these property owners, but there is a cumulative problem there of people coming, buying single containers of beer and wine, and and then finishing them off and going back and buying another one and spending the day at the beach. This tends to be somewhat of a nuisance to the families. We're just in the middle of a renovation. I'm not going to have a debate with you, sir. I mean, I do appreciate your position, and I understand the need to rent the property, but I don't believe that I'm making my recommendation as the council member. My recommendation is they're welcome to have a market. They're not welcome to have a beer and wine license. There are beer and wine licenses. I believe there's a liquor store 2 blocks away. These are, it is not hard, in fact, it is way too easy for people who wish to take alcoholic beverages to the beach, which they're not supposed to do that. And adding another liquor license, beer and wine license to the area is not really going to help us. Sit-down restaurant is a different problem. I understand that any given possible tenant, and you may not be able to make a deal, that certainly it's your property and you should make the deal that you want. But I would ask for your support of my motion that we deny the application. Open the roll. The motion is to deny. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That's approved. That is, it's approved, it's denied. Thank you. Next item.
Madam President, there's a request from Council District 8 to continue item number 52 for 1 day to September 6th.
All right. Item 52 is continued until tomorrow. And while we're at it, I'm going to recommend that we refer item 40 to the Commerce, Energy, and Natural Resources Committee, which has not had the opportunity to hear it. If there is no objection, that will be referred to Commerce. Next item.
Items for which public hearings have been held, items 29 through 38, with the exception of item number 40.
All right, now 38, we have a note that says 10 votes to disapprove, just so everybody's aware of that. And the
Madam President,
yes, Mr. Holden.
there's an amended motion, technical, on item 34, which is 34A.
Okay,
No,
let's get
no,
that.
no opposition.
Hang on, let's
And
get that.
37, I'd like to call special.
37 also an amending motion?
Special, no.
Special, all right. Mr. Holden calls 37 special.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, I'm not sure, item 31, it's being amended, and I don't think...
You want to call that special?
Yeah, I'll call
while you-
that special,
all right,
just for
let's call
purposes
31
of the amendment.
special, so we can check that out. Any other specials? 34, did somebody? That has, let's just hold, yeah, we'll just call that special long enough so everybody can read the amending motion. Okay. So, we have any other specials? We now have before us items, sorry, where did we start, 24?
29.
29 through, say again, Maria.
29 through 38.
29 through 38, with the exception of 31, 34, and 37, which have been called special, and item 37, we just called a special, there's an amendment. Okay, and item 38, let's call 38 special because we have to vote that one differently. So 29 through 36, with the exception of 31 and 34, okay? Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, those are approved. No, we didn't do 34 yet. We're going to amend it in a minute. Hold on. Okay. Item 38. Personnel Committee recommends approval, concurrence with the mayor's report. Open the roll on item 38. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That's approved. Okay. Next.
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 39 through 63, 39, 40 has been referred to Commerce, Energy, and Natural Resources, 39 and 41 have ordinances.
All right, well, we better hold the ordinances for a while here.
I don't think so. Madam Chair,
Yeah.
on item number 43, we request a 2-week continuance, and we would like to instruct the Housing Department to send the housing tenant contractor out to speak with the tenants on the problems there.
Okay, item 43 is continued for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and ask that the council instruct the Housing Department to send the housing tenant contractor to speak with the tenants.
Okay.
Madam President,
Fewer.
at the request of the Fire Department, I'd like to amend item 60 to continue the contract end date from August 30 to September 30, 2000. The thing wasn't considered in a timely way, so.
All right, we'll just assume that's amended in now. Go back and tell us again what numbers we're on here so we can. 56?
Yeah, we'd like to take out, well, let's just call it special, and I'll make
Okay,
it easy.
because we need a motion on that anyway, because there's
Okay.
two, all right.
Yeah, just call it special.
All right, 56 is called special, and 60 is amended. So we are now, we have item 42,
42 through 63.
with the exception of 43, which is continued for 2 weeks, and 52,
It's continued for 1 day.
continued for 1 day. That's what I didn't get time to write down. And 56 was called special. And 60 was amended. Did we go as far as 60? Okay. Okay. Open the roll on all the rest of that stuff. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
All right, those are approved. Forthwith on 51. And 32. Did we do we didn't, yeah, we did do 32. Okay. All right, I believe we're ready to go back and start doing specials here.
Item number 1 was called specials and ordinance.
Yeah, we're still holding the ordinances unless somebody showed up when I wasn't looking here.
Item 3 is also an ordinance. The next item called specials number 19 by Councilmember Padilla.
Okay, Mr. Padilla, could you hit your speaker button, please? Go.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Actually rise, obviously in support of the issue before us, but wanted to use this opportunity, colleagues, to call your attention to a series of articles that ran last week in the Los Angeles Times. Since I've been elected and my work here on the council over the course of the last year, you heard me talk a lot about the Northeast San Fernando Valley and the needs and the challenges that we have out there from all levels, from the basic city services, which has been a big focus of my first year in office, to the police and fire services, but certainly with a lot of planning and initiation of projects that have taken place that, in my opinion, have become the basic building blocks to strong and healthy communities, including rec and parks activities, including libraries, and including a number of other things. So I wanted to take this opportunity to call your attention to those articles because you've heard me, you've seen me speak to these issues, but the articles were very compelling with the challenges that this city has before it to serve a very needy, a very challenged area in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. And this motion specifically is a small step, but a significant step in one of the long-term initiatives, bringing about economic development and revitalization in one of the hardest suffering areas of our city. So I wanted to thank the department for their work and their support on this initiative, and particular thanks to Councilmember Hernandez, whose help and support has brought this project so far until this point. But with the approval today, we'll go forward with these 3 projects that will really be planting the seeds to turn around some of the hardest hit communities that we've been reading about in the Los Angeles Times. So thank you very much, and let's move on.
Madam President, I want to commend Councilman Padilla and certainly lend my support to this. And also to reiterate what Councilman Padilla said about the stories that recently appeared in the Times. I think they paint a very different picture than the stereotypes that many people in substantial portions of the city have regarding the San Fernando Valley. And they indicate a set of conditions which are far different from those commonly portrayed in some of the stereotypes that I have always heard, and a failure to recognize the reality of the diversity of conditions in the valley. And I think that Councilman Padilla's response to that and the articles that he references really do require us focusing upon. Much of my district is adjacent to the areas that Councilman Padilla represents. Probably in the next reapportionment, some of the areas I represent will be in his district or vice versa. I don't know how it will work, but the way it couldn't be any worse than the kind of reapportionment that took place 10 years ago. And I think as we consolidate communities of interest, we're going to find these problems don't know district boundaries. They are problems that are real to broad areas, and I certainly want to lend my support to you, Mr. Padilla, in any way that I can in dealing with these issues, and I commend you for the initiative you've taken.
Mr. Hernandez.
Madam Chair, members of the council, I also rise to commend this particular motion introduced by Councilmember Padilla. A lot of times we look at different tools to revitalize communities. And the bottom line is the reason we get the block grant from the federal government is as a supplement to what the city's currently doing. And many times, one of the tools we were always looking at in blighted communities was CRA. And CRA basically was designed as a tool to be used in communities that have already been declared blighted, that basically have to start completely from the bottom up and be restructured. The block grant, on the other hand, can help those communities that are in that midpoint, that can go one way or another. Now, when we look at poverty census tracts, the reality is some census tracts basically do not reflect the real poverty that's going on there because they share the populations of more affluent communities. And I believe that's part of what's been going on in the northeast part of the valley. And I think that looking at CDBG funds, block grant funds, to kind of work on that infrastructure is an excellent tool for the economic revitalization and the changing of what's going on there without having to declare it a blighted area and using a CRA as a tool. So to me, this is a very proper motion to be introduced. And the reason I wanted to speak out today is we have many of these kinds of communities throughout the city. And this is the first, from my perspective, TNI was trying to do that and using block grants, and it came from a different perspective. This is now coming from the perspective of council basically stimulated, so that hopefully we can work together hand in hand with some of the other tools that we're trying to use in these communities. So again, I just wanted to rise and acknowledge Councilman Padilla's initiative in trying to make this happen in his district.
Are we ready? All right. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved forthwith on that. Members of the council, Mr. Burnson had to go to the MTA because, as you know, they're trying to forestall a strike, which makes it unlikely that we are going to have 12 members today. So I'm going to suggest that we, right now, let everybody off the hook and take all the ordinance items and hold them over till tomorrow when we hope we're going to have 12. That's item 1,
1, 3, 11, 25, 27, 28, 39, and 41.
All right, so all of those will be continued till tomorrow.
7.
Okay, next item. That was 19, the next
Item
one.
21, call special by Councilmember Hernandez.
No, I think that was, we straightened that out. It was not called special, and I think we actually already acted on it, but
20 was sent to committee.
it was 20 and we sent it to committee, so I think we actually did 21, but just in case, open the roll again on item 21, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
Okay, that's approved, twice. All right, next, I believe, is item 31.
Well, item 26 has a card on it.
We did item 26. Believe me, we did. It was the one in my district. Yeah, we did it. We heard from Dr. Kotler. It's right here. We're all coming back from a recess. here.
Item 31. has
Okay,
call
item
special by
31, Mr.
Councilmember
Hernandez. And would you push the speaker button, please? Thank you.
Madam Chair, the only reason I called item 31 special was so that we could introduce an amendment to enhance certain projects to allow for more open space and take advantage of some opportunities that exist now in regards to Prop K and the purchasing of land for purposes of a new park. And so I just ask that we approve it as amended.
Okay, anybody else? Open the roll, close the roll, as amended. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
That's approved. Forthwith on that, please. Next, I believe, is item 34, which had an amendment. Mr. Holden, you said you had an amendment on this one?
The amendment is under this. I move approve as amended.
As amended, yes, okay. Where's the amendment, though? We can't amend it till the clerk has the amendment.
All right, I thought the clerk had it. It just basically says that we're adding, the clerk has it, to allow Samatar and SCI acreage EDA grant application agreement to be modified to allow grant funds to be used for land acquisition and/or infrastructure development by a nonprofit organization.
Okay, everybody up to date here? Here we go. Open the roll on the motion as amended, 34 as amended. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
All right, that's approved. Then we have item 37, same deal. Mr. Holden, I think you had an amendment on 37?
Oh, no, I just wanted to hear
Oh,
report. We're being sued in on that program.
okay.
And
Do we have-
I think it's already went all the way up to the appellate court. And if you're going to give a status report, I think we should have a status report.
All right, do we have somebody here from the Housing
If you
Department?
want to continue till tomorrow, it'd be no problem.
Well, if we don't, we have somebody here from the Housing Department. Mr. Penny?
We do? Okay, carry on. You'll discuss the lawsuit also, will you?
Gary Penny, General Manager of the Los Angeles Housing Department. The lawsuit on the fees has been appealed by the city to the California Supreme Court. The California Supreme Court has accepted briefs on that. They haven't scheduled a hearing on it. The other lawsuits, the city has prevailed on the environmental lawsuits that went to the Superior Court and in one case to an appellate court. I'm sorry, excuse me?
Yeah, the reason why I raised the lawsuit, the question of the lawsuit, because we lost in the lower court, right?
We won in Superior Court on the fees, we lost in the appellate court.
We lost in the appellate court, right.
And it's been appealed to the California Supreme Court.
By the city of Los Angeles.
That's correct.
Correct. Is any consideration being given to the fact that if we should lose in the Superior Court, how much money do we have to pay back? Because we are spending the money right now, is that correct?
That's correct. We provided a report last fiscal year which indicated that at that time it was approximately $13 million.
$13 million. So if we lose the case, we got to give back $13 million plus.
That's correct.
Now, next, don't you think that what we ought to do now is just start to put some of this money in the reserve fund, just in case, so it won't be 19 million or 20 million, that we have to give up?
The city discussed this. It was discussed in the Budget and Finance Committee and also with the budget, and determined to proceed in the present course.
Mr. Fuhrer, I mean, I'm not going to put a motion in, but you're the chair of the committee, and we have lost in the appellate court. What is the likelihood that we might be successful in the Superior Court? If we, just to make sure we go to hedge our bet here, and I'm just going to suggest that you would consider, you don't have to, that you consider bringing something into the council to hold the money in a trust fund from this point forward until we get a ruling from the state Supreme Court, because I would hate to have to go back and start cutting law enforcement, cutting here, cutting there, in order to make up the deficit to give up that kind of money if we don't have it.
Yeah. Mr. Olin, thank you. We actually have discussed this issue, as Mr. Pinney indicates, extensively. There is more than adequate money in the reserve should the need arise. The lawyers think that our chances before the Supreme Court are actually quite good. There are friend of the court briefs being filed by others throughout the state of California because other cities also recognize the error of the lower court ruling and the jeopardy it places larger cities in. So I think we're on the right track so far. We'll know more as the months continue to evolve. Mr. Pinney's done a good job of keeping us informed, as has the city attorney.
Okay, so that there are no other dibs on that unappropriated balance, the trust fund. How much do we have in the trust fund, by the way?
No, we don't, not in the trust fund, but in the reserve fund.
The reserve fund, how much do we have in
The reserve, we began the reserve fund with the year with a $60 million reserve fund that has been drawn down for things like the DNC. It will be escalated by virtue of new monies that the city controller.
What about
has identified.
lawsuits? Any lawsuits drawing that reserve fund?
Not
Settling lawsuits?
No, there's a separate liability claims account for that purpose.
All right.
Ms. Goldberg.
Yes, this is primarily a timeline to make sure that we deal with the problems that have come up, as there have been more than anticipated multiple inspections. And so I urge that we adopt this today as it's presented.
I might add that we've already submitted 3 reports on this timeline.
Ms. Chick? No? All right. Okay, item 37 is before us. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
Okay, thank you. That's approved. Next item.
Item number 56, called special by Councilmember Goldberg.
All right, Ms. Goldberg, there were 2. We need a motion on this anyway, so go ahead.
Well, I'll move it. I mean, it's really Ms. Wozakowski's motion. I mean, that's up to her.
Okay, and she would like to be heard, but you had called it special.
Yeah, I just wanted to take out item 2 in the report and send just item 2 as it is to the Personnel Committee. We will bring it back. I do not wish to delay the others because there's a time issue. But we have still one more discussion to have about the discrimination unit that's going to come back in-house and whether or not this is the most appropriate way to do this. So not to hold up the rest, we want to just carve that piece out. So my motion is I move that item number 2 be sent in its entirety to the Personnel Committee.
Okay, Ms. Wozakowski.
Thank you. I concur in that. There's also a Public Safety Committee report on the file, which is in sync and consistent with the communication from the Chair of Personnel. Members of the Council, this is an important matter. This is the creation of a special investigator classification in the Office of the Inspector General. And we have seen a lot of attention given to our whole realm of the police department matter, and this is something that the city attorney concurs in, personnel concurs in, the Inspector General and the Police Commission concur, is very, very necessary. That is to give the special investigator both the resources and the authority and the type of people who can help the Inspector General in the pursuit of his duties as required by the city charter. So that is now in concurrence with Personnel Chair and Public Safety Committee to instruct the personnel to issue the background report so we can go and get these special investigators for the Inspector General consistent with the language that the city attorney has put into the profile.
Mr. Pacheco.
Madam President, colleagues, as we reviewed this matter in committee, the only question I had was whether or not we should limit it to those offices or whether or not the position, the classification should be available to all departments in the city, and then if they are worthy of support, they'll get support during the budget process. So I merely ask that, as it goes back to Personnel Committee, that Ms. Goldberg and the committee look at whether or not this classification should be available to all of our departments and not just those in the motion as they are listed in right now. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we are agreed that everybody has moved, that items 1 and 3 go forward, item 2 will go to the Personnel Committee. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
That's done. I think we probably need a forthwith on that one. And item 60 we adopted with the amendment, so that should complete the agenda. And public
There's
comment.
also a request, items 14 and 15 were continued for 1 week to September 12th. There's been an additional request to continue it for an additional week to September 19th.
All right, I'm assuming no one has any problem with that. They're continued till September 19th, 14 and 15. All right, so we do have a closed session. We also have public comment and anything else? Let's do public comment then. Now, we have 3 people thus far who wish to be heard, and we have a 10-minute time period for public comment. Mr. Robinson is first.
Is this on? Excellent.
Yes, it's on. Go.
Madam President, members of council, I had an extraordinarily vivid waking dream this morning. I dreamed about a novel idea, an address for a website, a search engine, more sites. So I'm taking this opportunity in order to announce a concept, www, more sites, MORESYTES.com. But don't punch up the commercials, this commercial site yet, not until I register the trade name. Thank you.
Nice now. Mr. Myers, followed by B.H. Allen. Is Mr. Myers here? I guess. Oh, there you are. Sorry, there's this post in the way.
Good morning, Madam Council President and members of the council. My name is Ralph Myers. I'm here today as a member of Parents of Murdered Children. I've had the privilege in the past of working with Council Member Padilla when he was a member of Senator Feinstein's staff, and also I am a resident of West Hills and a member of Miss Chick's community. What I'm here for today is to express my opposition and those of most parents, if not all, of parents that have lost a loved one to murder, and in support of Councilman Holden's resolution, which will be presented, condemning Court TV and its program Confessions. If you bear with me, as you can see, I'm not a professional speaker, and it's hard to get through some of the thoughts that I have because I can be emotional. July 24th, 1993, my 25-year-old son, Tom, was murdered. This is a picture of Tom. I'm here today as his father, and I'm here today to oppose this Court TV's program. The loss of a child is the worst possible thing that can happen to anyone, particularly, obviously, a parent or loss of a loved one. That loss is increased in ways that are unimaginable and unanticipated. One such unimaginable way is why I'm here today, which I've already said is to protest the hearing of the viewing and televising of Confessions. By now, each council member has probably received many letters, email messages, and perhaps telephone calls from survivors of murder victims all over America. And if you had not yet had a chance to read them, I implore you to do so and listen to the additional pain and grief a show like Confessions will do to the survivors, and once again have the grief, additional grief and pain visited upon them. I'd like to share with you two of the quotes that perhaps you already have seen. One is from Charlotte M. Hullinger, who is the founder of the National Organization of Parents of Murdered Children. Her daughter Lisa was murdered in 1978. Ms. Hullinger states, "How many more shows do I need to watch to remind me of my daughter's murder? How many more times do I need to turn on the TV and see programs that highlight the murderer rather than the victim?" Another survivor that's lost a sister to murder writes, "I have long been a fan of court TV, but this will change if you give murderers their moment in the spotlight. My sister was brutally murdered and dismembered, and as if that weren't enough, she lay in the elements for a week in the heat of a Mississippi sun." And I've toned this down a little bit, this next phrase. "Now tell me one good reason why in God's name I want to see the SOB that took her life sitting in front of a camera and smiling and saying, 'Hi, Mom,' when he left my family in ruins and 3 children motherless. Think about what you're doing." In the case of my son Tom's murder, I was spared the horror of seeing his lifeless, blood-soaked body during the night of his murder. And during the trial, I made certain that I would not look at photos, crime scene photos of my son, because I don't want to remember him that way, and that's the way I would remember him. Unfortunately, that image would have been burned in my memory for as long as I live. I want to remember Tom the way you see him here. A young man, full of life. He was 25 years old. He was a surfer and a snowboarder. He worked with me at my company. He was a good kid. So this is the way I want to remember my son, not by some crime scene photos being flashed on the television screen as they interview perhaps his murderer, if that were ever to be the case. I understand also, and I'll try to conclude this in a hurry, that there are some free speech issues concerning the First Amendment rights of the press. It's my understanding that court TV attorneys have written to this council concerning them. Well, I agree with the Constitution, and I've served my country in the Army. I was in Germany when they built the wall. I was there during the Cuban Missile Crisis. We were ready to go to war to defend that same Constitution and its principles. But a prime example, sometimes even the First Amendment, other items in the Constitution will take precedence. One such is when the Sixth Amendment takes precedence, when we as victim survivors wanting to attend the trial of our loved one's murder are told what we can say, how we must behave, what kind of emotions if we're allowed to show. So where are our First Amendment rights? We lost them, as did our murdered loved ones. And my wife and I attended every hearing, 18 months worth of hearings from juvenile court all the way through the adult superior court. So, and we were told that almost every time. The Time Warner Court TV and the program Confessions sponsors, we are also asking that they reconsider sponsoring this program.
Thank you, Mr. Myers.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. B.H. Allen.
Thank you, Madam President Pro Tem. My name is Brian Allen. I came here today to address you on item number 61, which you approved before I could even arrive here. That is, of course, the motion by Councilman Padilla. Now, most of you will regard that motion as a mere boilerplate, non-controversial procedural motion, and I should have no objections to it. Now, although I strongly agree with some of the themes articulated in item number 61, I disagree with others, and I was denied the opportunity to speak on that item. However, let me state clearly that it was Councilman Padilla's own staff who refused repeatedly to answer to return my phone calls, thus denying me the basic information I needed just to be aware that the motion was pending and even the contents of the motion. I had to twice call the index section of the city clerk's office just to be able to find the council file number and find at the very last moment, a little before 5 p.m., that it was due to be scheduled today. Now, Councilman Padilla, that's not a good way to run business. Okay, it's already been approved, so what am I doing here now? I'm wasting your time. Well, I shall waste your time. Now, again, as I said, I agree with some of the basic themes of the motion, but it is fundamentally mistaken at this early stage to be talking about so-called bus rapid transit, a semi-exclusive busway on a north-south corridor in the San Fernando Valley. The reason is that the governor's legislation does not specify bus rapid transit for the north-south corridor. I quote to you, just to refresh the memory of not everyone who's read this, as added by SB 406, Government Code Section 14556.40, Subdivision 38, Subdivision B reads, build a north-south corridor bus transit project that interfaces with the foregoing east-west Burbank-Chandler corridor project and with the Ventura Boulevard rapid bus project. $100 million, $100 million, so forth and so on. Since it does not specify a bus rapid transit project, and since a bus rapid transit project would be far more expensive unit cost per mile, and since it would be far more controversial than a rapid bus project, it is extremely premature to be asking for a report focused, I emphasize, focused upon bus rapid transit instead of rapid bus. Ladies and gentlemen of the council and Mr. Padilla, I have examined the MTA's Regional Transit Alternatives Analysis from 1999, the Study Results Appendix. Page whatever the page number is, page A4.1-3, which outlines a 16-corridor rapid bus network of 240 route miles costing $221.4 million. Using that as a rough estimate, it is possible to build 2 rapid bus lines in the valley along Van Nuys Boulevard and San Fernando Road for a cost of around $30 million out of an available $100 million. In point of fact, except for the fact that the legislation excludes an east-west route, one could also build a rapid bus line in the valley along Roscoe Boulevard, one of the 16 corridors, for a grand total of $65 million out of $100 million.
Mr. Allen, we're over time, so can I ask you to summarize, please?
That would leave additional money, even after implementing such rapid bus lines, for individual, intermittent, so-called rapid bus or exclusive busway or treatments along those routes. It is fundamentally in error, and you have passed fundamentally in error without adequate public review, a motion focused upon something which will lead to strife in the valley as everyone in the valley tries to get their piece of a rapid transit, of a bus rapid transit project, instead of a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 project in the valley satisfying all interests. And I'm not the one at fault, and I will not accept the buck being passed to me.
Okay, thank you very much. That closes the public comment period, and I believe our remaining item of business is to go into closed session.
Do you wish to clear the desk before going into closed session?
Well, let's do it while we're going into closed session. So those of you who are not involved in the closed session, if you would take your leave while you're doing that, we will clear the desk.
You have motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, they are posted and referred.
Council has excuses on the desk. Councilmember Galanter requests to be excused. September 13th, city business meets council policy.
That's approved.
Councilmember Brinson requests to be excused Wednesday, September 13th, personal business meets council policy.
All right, that's also approved.
Councilmember Hernandez requests to be excused for tomorrow's meeting, September 6th, city business meets council policy.
All right, that's approved.
Councilmember Pacheco requests to be excused Tuesday, September 19th, and Wednesday, September 20th, city business meets council policy.
That's approved.
Councilmember Walters requests to be excused Tuesday, September 19th, Friday, September 29th, and Tuesday, October 17th, to leave at 11:30. City business meets council policy.
Okay, those are approved.
Councilmember Fuhr requests to be excused Friday, October 6th, to leave at 11:30. City business meets council policy.
Okay, that's approved.
Councilmember Pacheco requests to be excused Friday, September 22nd, to leave at 10:30. City business meets policy.
Well, we'll hope that we've started the meeting before he has to leave. That's approved.
Councilmember Pacheco requests to be excused personal business Friday, October 6th, meets council policy.
Okay, that's approved.
Councilmember Galanter requests to be excused on October 3rd and 4th. City business meets council policy.
Those are approved.
Councilmember Chick requests to be excused September 6th, to leave at 11:45. City business meets policy.
Okay, that's approved.
And
Is
Councilmember
anybody going to be here?
Councilmember Walters requests to be excused personal business Wednesday, September 6th. I need a motion.
All right. Are we going to have enough people tomorrow? We're at a bare quorum now.
There's going to be 11 people, and then 10 after 11:45.
All right. So does somebody want to make a motion to let Mrs. Walters leave early? Mr. Holden, or Ms. Goldberg will make the motion. All right. That's approved.
That clears the desk.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Goldberg.
Since we won't have 12 again tomorrow, why don't we pass all the ordinances today and then begin the week that carries them over?
Yeah, we could do that.
It'd be better to do 12 if we had 12, but we're not going to have 12.
Yeah, it looks like we're not going to have 12.
So I just as soon
We'll
get
have-
them started.
we'll have 12
and
tomorrow?
I don't even remember what they were anymore.
No, I have the list. Don't
Okay,
worry. But
okay. But it just seems to me like...
we will have 12 for most of the meeting tomorrow.
Oh, we will?
Yeah,
Oh.
Mr. Hernandez is going to be here.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
let's hold it.
Okay.
If we don't, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay. All right, are we clear? With the TV still on, we're not clear yet. We are attempting to go into closed session here. All right, we seem to be back on. Madam Clerk.
Item number 64A is settlement in the case of Colin Rock et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al. In the amount of $200,000.
Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That's approved forthwith. Next item.
Next item is item 64B. It's a settlement of $30,000 for the city to accept in the case of Cornell Ewell versus Subway Sandwiches et al.
Okay, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That's approved forthwith on that as well. And
the last case, item 64C, settlement in the amount of $175,000 in the case of Alora Perna versus City of Los Angeles et al.
Okay, open the roll on that one, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, forthwith on that as well. All right, and I believe that completes the agenda.
That clears the desk.
We do have adjourning motions because I have some. All right,
Yes,
Ms. Chick.
Colleagues, I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of the mother of my staff member, Dean Leavenworth, who lost his mother, Edna, on August 18th. She passed away at the age of 80 after quite a long and courageous struggle with heart disease. She was a businesswoman and an artist. She contributed greatly to the cultural life in her community through her involvement in the arts, theater, and as a member of her local arts council. She's survived by her husband, Howard, 2 daughters, Maureen and Kathleen, and her son, Dean Leavenworth.
And we just need to add to that Mike Bonin of my staff worked with her for 2 years when he was in high school, and he was a store clerk.
Oh.
And he can tell stories about her stories as well.
And so he's a Boston person.
I am.
Better.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's very nice.
Mr. Holden.
Madam Chair and members, sad to announce that we're adjourning in memory of Willard Scott, He was a member of the famed 1969 USC football defensive line nicknamed the Wild Bunch. He played with Al Collins, Jimmy Gunn, Charlie Weaver, and the late Toddy Smith. He was a lifelong resident of Los Angeles who attended Manual Arts High School and Los Angeles Community College. After college, he worked for Southern Pacific Railroad and later was a probation officer. Certainly he's going to be missed. He's helped a lot of young people. He leaves his wife, Therese, and daughters, Nikki and Renee.
Mr. Padilla?
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, I respectfully request that we adjourn in memory of Marina Diaz. Unfortunately, you might have read about the incident in the newspaper a couple of weeks ago during the recess. She was unfortunately killed by a hit-and-run driver crossing Van Nuys Boulevard in Pacoima. She lived in the area, had a lot of family in the area, and was a shop owner for more than 10 years in the community.
Mr. Wax?
Yes, I have several, Madam President. Stuart Robinson, who was a fraternity brother of mine and a longtime friend and supporter and a very prominent literary agent, passed away suddenly and over the holidays, or while we were in recess. Richard Lee Annenwalt, who is the president of Annenwalt Lumber and the father of my friend Katie Annenwalt, now married to Chuck Arnaldi, and I'll give the information on that. Sharon Blumenstein, who is the wife of Larry Blumenstein, whom none of you know from Sherry Zedek, and involved in a lot of Valley activities and in the Jewish community, as well as a very active supporter in the Police Advisory Board, and Charlotte Hagan, the wife of Alexander Hagan.
Oh, I'd like to join you in
and
that. I'd like to be
I'll give the
co-presenter.
information on all of those.
I'd like to be co-sponsor on that for Alex's wife.
Is that recent? Somehow I'd missed that one. All right, and I'd like to ask that, I have several also, I'd like to ask first that we adjourn in memory of Marguerite King, the mother of LA Fire Department Captain Gregory King, whose office is in my Westchester building. I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Ivy Riviere, who was a very active block club captain in the 7th Avenue Block Club and helped us a great deal in the Hyde Park area of my district. She's survived by 4 survivors. And finally, to ask that we adjourn in memory of Mr. Rafael Estelano, who died last week after a long illness. 2 weeks ago. He's survived by his wife and 5 children, numerous brothers and sisters. The one of his children, many of you know, is Cecilia Estelano.
I'd like to join you on that, please.
So I thought several of you might want to join. All right, call the roll. Thank you. We are adjourned. See you all tomorrow at